Is that everything? Yeah. So because you wanted to see what I've managed to do, I'll show you what I've done in here first. So first I've attached the camera to the character, so if it collides with, say, the floor, if it collides with the floor, it will zoom in. So if I go inside a house, it will not clip through walls or anything. So that's one thing. Another thing is I set up a load of animation loops or montages, so the character can walk forward, sideways, in a circle with keybinds I want, say with mouse movement, and then this sphere. Oh, if you look at the floor as I walk, I've added a particle to look like I'm kicking up dust as I'm walking. And then with this sphere, I put collision modifiers on the hands. So, oh wait, no, before I do that, I've made a punching montage, and I've also made it so it blends, so the character's lower body has a separate animation, if that makes sense, so it can punch and walk around. And then with the collision spheres on the hands, I can punch stuff, which is pretty cool. And I learned how to give objects physics. He's got a jump animation depending on how far he jumps, so that's what it looks like from here. If I was to jump up here and then jump, lasts longer to fall. That's yeah. So that's everything in the game, what it looks like visually. And then if I go into the actual engine, get rid of the start content. If you go on to the character, I made the animation graph. So this is everything to do with how he walks. So it's asking, is he walking or is he running? And this itself is a blend animation. I'll show you that in a second. Close something. Turn my music off. There we go. So this monstrosity is events. So it's asking, what character is it? Is it getting movement? What speed is he getting? And then all the speed, is he falling, is getting put into basically a cast, which is, we give it a load of information and it will input it into something to constantly remember that information. So this basically means this is our character, and then the character has a question. Is the character punching? If yes, give it a condition, which is it punching? Then do once and then punch, and all this is looped. So this is, I don't know, say you, basically it's like a metronome. It'll constantly do this code as you're doing it. So say he's standing still now, this will be constantly updating, like it is here. It's like, is he moving? No, it's not. Right, do nothing. So then that's that. If we go into let me find, there we go. Here's all the different groups. So there's the movement group. All this is asking about how movement is and where's the input? Here we go. Here's the input. This game that I made has controller input, so if you were play with a PS4 controller, it would work. Same with, here's the mouse controllers. Oh, it's even got controllers for touchscreen. So if it was on a phone, it would have UI for for phone controls, and that, which is basically the touch controls. They use a gamepad's controller because it's joysticks, and all you have to do is put an input of, for jumping, if you want to jump, you tap once on the screen, tap once, if yes, jump, and it's asking how many times you want to touch. And then punching, this is punching and then asking for a collision. So are the punches colliding with anything? Do they have a collision sphere? And these are the collision spheres are made. That's what everything looks like for the character. So if you go on the camera boom, that's connected with the camera. I think you can affect. Oh, I think you can. Yeah. You can change the length of it. Oh, undo. Don't know what I did there. But yeah, you can change how far away the camera is from the character. This construction script. This is basically this is these spheres on the hands. There's one, there's the other. Can't see it that well, but whatever. This basically tells those spheres to connect to these bones, and then in the event graph, because these are now connected to bones, if they connect with anything, they will collide and have collision. I made a material for the character. I didn't make the character. Everything you see here I've not made, other than the particle effect. Everything's basic. Like this character was given in the tutorial I was watching. This is a game blueprint. So basically it's just asking for set. So default pawn, that means the character, and then you set the character. I've set it as the one I want. You can set a HUD. I've not looked into HUDs, but I'm going to. Oh, here's another thing. If you want multiple characters, you want them to have the same exact skeleton, but different meshes. You want them to use the same skeleton so that you can use the same animations. So if we go on character animations, this one, this is the punching montage. If I pause it, this thing here, well, this is like the timeline. So it's saying at the top, this is where you drag everything in. It's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then here, we've given it a loop animation. So you put one of the punch start animations in, and you put punch 1, punch 2, and then you add a punch 1 again, and it loops them for as long as you want. It's default set infinite loop. So yeah, with the animations, if we want specific animations, say for combat, every animation has to have a start, beginning, a start, middle, and end, in case you want to loop the animation. What else is there to show? Oh, this, what was it called? I think it's called an animation blend. No, it's blend space. Blend space, sorry. Basically, this is a graph. You can, at the moment it's 2-dimensional, but you can make it a 3-dimensional graph. I've only made a 2-dimensional one, but you can make 3-dimensional ones. So you can add specific ones if you turn in specific directions. And so these dots, here's the idle animation, that's starting to walk, and then this is running. And for the label, I put it as speed, so that if we go into the animation blueprint and go animation graph, this is basically that animation blend space as a little node as itself. So it has the blend space, and it has a speed. If you go inside of it, it's got a speed modifier linked to it, and then into the all these mean final result. So then this blend space asked for a blend space ID, which we just made, so you just apply it, and then once you're done with that, I'll close it. This is to do with the punching, being able to punch and have the running animation at the same time. So if we go in the animations, doesn't really matter which one. The ones, oh, you can use these. I forgot, but yeah. Where was it? It was something to do with here we go, these notifiers. So we added a notifier, which is basically an input. So as it gets to that frame, it asks for the input, and the input says to give out a branching point, and then it asks for upper body. I had to make that myself. You make it up here, you click the search, and then add slot upper body. You can make multiples. So we gave it the upper body slot, and then branching point, and then can't remember. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. There was, or is it in the graph itself? No. Is it here? There's something about a spine one. Is it in the animation? I'll have to remind myself how I did it, but basically when, no, it's not this. When I'm getting lost. When it's doing the montage, we specified the bone in which for the animation to start upwards. So we chose the bottom spine, so we went on show, bone names, paused it, found the bottom of the spine, put that bone name into the bone name slot, and then the upper body group knows, okay, only affect stuff above from that point. So when you go into the game, it actually only affects the top half of the body. Whereas if you look at it in the animation display, his feet bend a bit, so it allows us to do other stuff as we're punching. For the particles, I save it. It made me save it here. I should. I should put it. Move here. There we go. This particle. Basically, it was very simple. The tutorial told me about particles, but it just said mess around with a few of the settings. Mess around with how long it spawns for, how big it is when it spawns compared to when it gets removed or dies. So, and then for it to link to your animation, I think we went into the run animation. Yeah, you go into the run animation and give it a notify and just add when it's this one, when the foot touches the ground, it adds a notification of a particle. So I'll show you. You right click the bar, add notify, play particle effect. That's what I did. And then we made it before we did this. So then you click this drop down menu for the one you've made with the name, or if you've selected it in here. So if I selected it here and then back into it and click the arrow, it would import the one I've got selected, in case you're trying to go through 1,000 different things. One sec. I was about to sneeze. Anyway, you can attach it to a name of a bone, so you can attach it to the ball of the feet, like this one for each foot, because it's a simple run animation with 2 steps in it. So I've attached it. Let me save it, and then if I was to play, the particles are following with the feet. So that's one thing you can do. It just looks better if you detach it. But from what I'm thinking, you could add that to the hands, and if the hands, say one of the punch animations, say when it gets to this frame, I could add, I don't know, let me add it quick, add particle effect, I forgot where you named them. Oh, it gets named. Yeah, it gets named from whichever one you choose. So let's I'll put it. This is his right hand, so it'll be hand_R, and it filters between them percenter. So if I'm right, if I play, every time he punches with that hand it does an explosion. So I'm sure I could put a variable on it so it only plays that animation if it collides with something. So that's pretty cool. I've not looked into skyboxes or weather, which I want to look into. But yeah, I think that's everything. Is that everything? Oh, naming the bones. Naming the bones is very crucial because you have to link everything. I think that's it from what I've learnt so far. I mean, I'm trying to remember everything off the top of my head. Oh, that was it, settings. I learnt how to give different inputs for different actions and movement. So all this stuff, the axis mapping, that's movement. I've got move forward, and then it's like, because move forward's going to be W, you want move backwards to be the opposite, so you just do a -1. Same with up and down arrows, but for a gamepad, because the gamepad understands different code, you can just leave it as a 1. And then with the action mappings, you don't actually have to make an action first. You can just name it, jump, give it a button, and then when you're going into the animation blueprint, so let's just go, oh no, I meant to do where's it gone? There we go. Yeah, so this one, because I added the input for a jump, you give it a limitation, so it's asking, is the character in the air? If so, start this animation, which is the animation you make in 3ds Max, and then this is the middle of the jump, so it's basically saying what time remaining on the start of the jump is left, going into the next one, blend or start the animation at this amount. So 1 is start at the start, but you don't want to do that, so it's halfway through the start of the jump. It will go into the jump loop, which is basically when you're in the air, and then in the air it asks, are you in the air? If not, can enter the jump end. So that's, and then that's got a in one of the event graphs somewhere it asks, it gives, yeah, there you go, is the character still following, blah blah blah. So I'm trying to link everything still in my mind, but I kind of understand everything from what I've learned. Oh, it's got these because it's playing the animation. Oh wait, no, it's telling you it's getting the flow, it's working. So this locomotion is linked to a motion cache, and a cache is basically, say you had a box and you wanted to, and you had another box, but the first box was full of everything, you can literally just copy it into this, which isn't a box, say it's a piece of paper, and then you can make copies of that piece of paper to act as that first box, if that makes sense. So this can't be linked to multiple things, but you can make the cache so it can have different blends, which is the punch in whilst moving thing. This is what this is. So yeah, the guy who was doing the tutorial on the Unreal website, he was saying they have tons of tutorials and everything, so I'm gonna look into weather and lighting, because we want lighting to be a huge part of the game. Same with weather for the outside bit. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. I'm not sure if I can export it and put it on a computer so people can try it, but I'll look into that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated.